So today I'm going to share with how we got our recruits that we work with 29 responses from just email alone in just 2 weeks. And now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Trent Loera. I'm a former college quarterback, and now I run Your First Scholarship, where we help families get their first scholarship and more. And so, what this video is going to be like, it's going to be unedited. I'm just going to rant about this, share you my insights, my findings from these past 2 weeks. So that way, hopefully, you can take some of it into your recruiting and crush the recruiting process. So let's dive into it. So basically, what we do at Your First Scholarship, at least for some of our families that we work with, is we do send out emails and DMs for these families, so that way we can automate the process for them, make it a lot easier. And so we send out thousands of emails per week. And so we know what works. We have the data to back it up. And so these past 2 weeks, we've absolutely crushed it for our families. And so we've gotten 29 responses from just email alone. This isn't counting DMs, this isn't counting posts, just from email from college coaches. Probably about half of those were from the Division I level. So this whole lie of coaches don't respond to emails is completely untrue. And that doesn't even count the emails that got sent to them. They checked out their Twitter profile and followed them and DM'd them from there. This is just pure responses from our emails. And so I'm going to share with you a couple of our findings that have gotten us those results. So hopefully you can apply it to your situation. And so let's dive into it. So the first one, the biggest one, is just volume. Like I mentioned, we sent out thousands of emails. And this is about like 15 families that do this actively right now. So each family got about, on average, close to 2 emails over the past 2 weeks, just legitimate, real interest. And so the biggest thing is volume. We send out about 200 emails per recruit per week. So that means on a daily basis, we're sending about 30, close to 30, like bare minimum is like 27. We get up to like 35. And so we're doing a lot of emails, more than most people send on DMs. So that's the biggest thing, is like, if you want to get responses, that's DMs, emails, whatever you're doing, you need to do a lot of it. Like, you can't expect to go to one camp and get an offer. You can't expect to send 10 emails and get an offer. You can't expect to send 10 DMs and get an offer. Like, you have to do a lot, and we're doing a lot. Like, I have some recruits that we've sent out 5,000 plus emails to college coaches over the months that we've worked with them. And they're in an incredible situation right now because they have tons of interest. They're doing the same thing on the DM side. It's like, when you do that much outreach and you reach out to that many coaches, like, things are going to happen. Like, you're just making it happen at that point. And so that's the biggest thing, is volume. Like, in volume, I mean just numbers, because recruiting is a numbers game. Like, so many people try to just hone in on 1 to 2 to 5 to 10 to 20 schools. And it's just like, yeah, you can do that. That's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that if you have specifically targeted these schools that you feel like are a great fit for you. But if you expect to think that things are going to go amazingly well and all these schools should be reaching out back out to you, like, that always confuses me so much when someone's like, I don't understand why, these schools that we've identified as such a great target for us and we just haven't gotten any response back. I don't know why. And it's like, because they're probably just not interested in you. Because that's the case. It's like, you can't force a coach to be interested in you. And that's why I'm always such a big fan of casting such a big net. Like, ideally, if we could, and what we try to do is reach out to like every single school that they're possibly even mildly interested in. Because number one, you don't know who's going to be interested in you back. So we get a good gauge on like what's going on there. And number two, you don't even know if you're going to actually be interested, because there are schools that you go check out, you meet the coaches, and you're like, holy crap, I do not want to go to this school. And there's schools that you're like, like, probably not interested in that school, and you go to it and it's amazing and you're in love with it. And so to be so closed-minded is just, it just doesn't make sense, because you haven't really experienced it. And so you're just putting this 40-year decision into just a little bit of research that you've done. So that's the big thing, is just volume. Like, we send out a lot of emails, a lot of DMs, and that's gotten us a lot of results. So volume in my eyes negates luck, just like in anything, hard work, effort, all that stuff. And that's what volume's all about. So number one is volume. We sent out a lot of stuff, and that's why we got the responses we did. Number two is following up. So we follow up with the coaches, like everything we do. Again, following it up. because most of the responses did not come from the first email. We definitely did have a few that came from the first email, but majority of them come from the second, the third, the fourth email. That's where the money is. And so if you're just sending one email or one DM to a coach and then you don't get a response and you never message them again, you're missing out on a huge opportunity, because college coaches, like, most people just think like the coach saw their email, opened it up, watched the film, and then just completely ignore them. Realistically, most of the time, it's just because like they forgot, they don't have enough time, or yeah, they might not be interested, or might not be interested right now. They might not be looking for a linebacker, for a safety, for a quarterback right now. But then you follow up with them a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 4 months later, and all of a sudden they need that position, and they're interested in you. Things have changed. I mean, especially now with the transfer portal, things change so fast, and so you could hit up a coach one day, and then the next day they need you, and it's just a completely different situation. So we try to just insert our names into these conversations to see what we can get and what's going on in their situation. So that's a big thing, is just following it up, because if you do it right, like, a lot of people think it's bugging coaches and annoying, but like, realistically, we've never had a situation where a coach is annoyed by it at all. Like, that just hasn't happened. And so if you do it the right way, it won't be an issue, and you'll get more responses, you'll get more interest, and ultimately more scholarship offers from it. I mean, we have a kid right now that I work with that has 22 Division I offers. The best thing that they did was follow up with coaches. It has literally led to them getting their first offers and building these relationships with the coaches. So following up is a big one. The third one is we email about everyone. And like, some people will probably say like, oh, well, I've been told I should only focus on my area coordinator, my position coach, stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, that's true. Like, if you're manually emailing this stuff and not using the stuff that we do, like, yeah, that's probably what you should do. But if you're able to do a lot of volume, you should check every single door, because we've gotten responses from coordinators, we've gotten responses from head coaches, we've gotten responses from low-level guys. And so it's like, you never know who's going to open your email and really like you. And so to say like, oh yeah, you should only message your area coordinator, like, that's just limited opportunity in my mind. Like, of course, that's what most college coaches will tell you, is like, hey, make sure to hit up your area coordinator. And I agree, you should. But sometimes that like information is hard to come by. It's not super accessible. So you're spending hours trying to figure that information. Then you message them, and then they don't even check their email that often, and you're missing out. Versus like, the defensive coordinator checks their email all the time, and you get a response from him. And so don't limit your messaging to just one or two people on the staff, because you never know who's going to root for you. I've personally, as a quarterback, I've had defensive coordinators hit up me randomly and be like, hey man, I love your film, like, I want you on our team. And you wouldn't think that. It wasn't like he was my area coordinator or anything like that. He just saw my film and really liked me and wanted to recruit me. And so to limit your opportunities, you're losing out on a lot of opportunities. And so we message everyone. It's something you can take in as much as you can. It's I recommend it, because it's given me a lot of opportunities and our recruits a lot of opportunities, but I know it's not necessarily possible. And so try to take that into consideration as much as you can. Number 4 is just, we focused on deliverability a lot. That's what took us. Like, we were definitely getting good email responses in the past, but what's really changed over these last 2 weeks is we focused on email deliverability, making sure it's getting into the coach's inbox. It's a big step that a lot of people miss. When you send these emails with super long essay-like structures, and they have a bunch of links, and you're including attachments, your email is probably going to get sent to spam. Just being honest with you. And also, if you're using your personal email address and all this stuff, and you're not like setting up correctly, it's gonna get sent to spam, or it's not gonna go in their inbox. Our emails go straight to their primary inbox. Like, our open rates are insane. Like, we just started a campaign today. All D1 coaches, we have 100% open rate. I have a kid that we've sent 500 emails for, 94% open rate. Like, 500 of the 570 coaches we've sent to have opened his email. Like, that's nuts. And so we just go nuts with that stuff. And so you have to focus on email deliverability. If you're sending emails and they're just going to spam and they're not getting opened, then you're just wasting your time. And so you have to make sure that you're focusing on that stuff. So those are the big four takeaways. There's probably more stuff that I go into, but those are the big four things that if you focus on, you should be able to get better results. And so hopefully this helped. If you're looking to work with me one-on-one or learn more, then go to yourfirstscholarship.com. You can sign up for our email list there and learn more about our stuff from there. So have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.